All right, let's go to Melissa in St. Louis.
My husband and I have 2 children. We have a 7-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter.
How long y'all been married?
As we get in 10 years.
10 years, okay.
Yes. So as we get into this age group, we find ourselves constantly teaching them about honesty and integrity and accountability, all those things that you want to teach them early in life, so that they'll hopefully be better off as they get older. But my husband and I have, I guess, a secret of our own, and we need some help on how to figure this out for our family.
Okay.
So my husband has a son from a one-time indiscretion that our children do not know about.
Okay.
He's 14 years old, and he lives with his mother in another state. We provide full financial support to him, and we had about an 8-year court battle to try to establish and develop a relationship. It wasn't until he was 10 that the courts mandated that she produce the child. And it was revealed in court-ordered therapy that she had told him that his dad was dead, and a deadbeat all of those years, as she was moving around, changing her phone number, changing her name, just a very tumultuous type relationship. And we were kind of always 2 steps behind her. So once they started court-ordered therapy, he traveled for a year. He would do 1 week a month to do therapy and to visit. And then at the end of that year, when the judge asked the child how he felt, he just expressed a lot of anger towards his dad. He didn't want a relationship with him. He didn't want a relationship with our family. And the judge said that he was going to honor that, and that if he wanted to, when he was ready, he could come around.
Okay.
So we felt that we had exhausted all of our options legally, financially. We incurred a lot of debt to meet that monthly requirement. And emotionally, we didn't really know what else to do.
Sure.
So we came to terms with that. We worked through that process, and obviously we hope that he'll come around when he's older and ready to have that conversation, and we don't need to involve the courts. So I guess our question is, how do we tell our 2 children about this? At what age is appropriate? It's just causing a lot of anxiety, thinking of opening up something so burdensome that will leave this hole in their hearts that they have this brother that they don't know. But I'm also scared to wait until they're, 30 and 28, and this kid shows up and he's their brother and they had no idea.
Yeah, don't do that.
And they find out that we kept this big secret from them.
Yeah, don't do that.
So I kind of want to figure out how to navigate that.
So I'm going to answer 2 parts. One, you didn't ask me, and one, you did, okay?
Okay.
I cannot recommend enough that your husband leave a inexhaustible trail of care and compassion and intervention with this young boy. What that may look like right now is a monthly or even weekly letter. That what you're doing is you're building up months and years of I reached out, I was the grown-up. There will come a moment when he's going to want to talk to his dad. It will happen. And there will come a moment when he'll see things clearly. It just happens that way. And it might not be till he's 30. It might not be till he's 21. There will be moments when he wants to know. And that's when you want him to know, this guy reached out to me and would not stop. What a kid is looking for is that never ceasing connection. And I cannot get my feelings hurt by a 14-year-old with a manipulative mother. I can't get my feelings hurt by a 14-year-old, period. There will come a day when your husband can pull out all that paperwork and say, look this young man in the eye and say, I went to the ends of the earth for you. I want you to know that. But I want this kid to feel that, okay? And so whether that's you send pictures of you and him, I probably wouldn't include the 2 young ones yet until he's older. But I want him to know that y'all reached out. And one day he'll loop back around. I almost have no question that will happen. The second part is this. You have a deep well of emotion tied to this situation, right? This kid means a lot to you. I bet you and I could talk offline in person for about 15 minutes and you could double over in tears, right? I mean, I bet it happened pretty quick. Your 7-year-old and your 4-year-old don't have that. They don't have that emotional connection and all of that baggage and all of that pain associated with it. And so if you let them know, you guys have a brother, and Daddy had another little boy and he lives with another mommy in this place, and you leave it at that, then they will go, oh, one of them, the oldest one, may ask, can we go see him? And you'll say, someday. And you just begin to norm it over time. The less sensationalized you make it, the more fact-based you make it, they don't have the baggage you do. They'll go, okay. And as they get older, they'll ask questions about, Daddy has we have another brother, we have another son. And as they get older, that's when you can begin to have more and more open conversation. Right now, the word indiscretion, I don't even like that word, but the word
I know, but it just feels so.
I know it does. It is, but it is. A 7-year-old wouldn't understand what indiscretion meant, right?
Right.
He would understand. Daddy has had another little boy that's older than you with another mommy, and that mommy lives in so-and-so. And hopefully one day everybody will get to play, but he's older than you right now. And your kid will go, what's his name? And you'll say, Tom. And you'll go, can I have some nachos? Right? That's how they'll absorb this story, okay? What you don't want to do is communicate anything other than, I'm just telling you the truth. And as they age, this conversation gets deeper and more whole and bigger. I had a conversation with my son last night. He's 10 now, and we were talking about integrity and honesty, and I had to tell him, your dad lied a lot when he was a kid. I was real insecure, and I just didn't tell the truth a lot, which is why I'm a lunatic about it now. And he couldn't have heard that at 7. At 7, it was, Daddy got in trouble a lot when he was a kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, again, you just slowly open it up like a funnel. But I think you are dead on. I love your heart here. You can't have secrets just destroy families. If you have a picture, if this eventually there's a pen pal thing, maybe your husband puts a self-addressed stamped envelope in there and gives this young kid an opportunity to write him back. Even puts paper in there and says, I'd love to hear from you. I've put an envelope in there. You may lose that envelope for 5 years, but it's year 6 that you get that letter back, right? And that letter may come back with just a traced middle finger on it, right? And your husband just has to know, I'm not going to get my feelings hurt by a 14-year-old. I'm just not. And I'm going to keep trying.
We've sent some, in the beginning, we used to send cards, and we would send gifts, and we would send all of these things, and it was pretty much all rejected. And so we recently found him on a social media site.
Yep.
And so he reached out to him directly through that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of been, he hasn't responded, but again, trying to at least say, I'm here when you're ready to talk. And again, not talking at all about his mother, because we don't want it to be,
that's right,
your mother is so horrible and we are so great. Everybody has to answer for their choices in this situation.
And he'll figure it out.
I really want to figure out.
He will figure out deception from mom. He will figure out mom is not who she said she was. He'll figure out, why did we move 14 different places when I was a kid? He'll figure that out. And it may be that mom is rejecting these letters. You don't know, right? It may be that mom is hitting return on these things. And you have no idea the poison that she's filling that poor little boy with. And it may be that one day you have a box of letters that you hand to him. I hope you keep every one of those things that gets returned. I hope you keep everything, because at one point that will be part of the conversation. And you just want, not only do you want a trail, I don't want my husband giving up on his son, right? I don't want to be married to that guy. So I want him to continue. It sounds like he's not, right? I'm not putting that out there, but he's going for it and going for it and going for it. Reach out on social media. That's always a paltry chicken crap second option, right? I mean, it's just not a way to communicate with people that you love. Always be sending cards, always be sending letters. I love just handwritten letters, man. And keep sending them, keep sending them, keep sending them. And she may burn every one of them. Great. It's not going to hurt him. But yeah, your original question, yes, you got to tell the little kids, and I would tell them in a way that preserves everybody's dignity right now, doesn't let them be surprised, and maybe you introduce it with a photo. And kind of like my daughter, she's 5. She curls up and looks at old photo albums, and look, this is when you were in mommy's tummy. It may be, you know who that is? That little boy is your brother. That's your brother. Daddy has another son who's way older than you with another mommy. And they'll go, how does that work? And you may have to explain some stuff. But you can start it so they'll have a picture in their head, and then they're just going to go on about their day. And never lie to your kids. Tell them the truth. I love your heart, Melissa. This is a hard one. This is a tough one. But lean into the hard conversation. It's going to be hard. And don't give up chasing that little boy.